Hello and welcome to your $1,400 stimulus check and stimulus package update. We have had a lot of movement since my last update about like 12, 14 hours ago where we were completely stalled in the Senate. So let's cover everything you need to know and the potential timeline for the next stimulus package. I think this is going to be a very interesting one to tune into. So I woke up early this morning, jumped right out of bed, pat my cats on the heads, bonk. Bonk, grabbed a coffee and tuned into C-SPAN to see what exactly was going on this morning and going on overnight to build a comprehensive recap of what's happening and what we can expect later on today. So let's just get right into it. Oh, and also make sure you get into that link in the description for Webull where you can get 2 completely free stocks with a $100 deposit. It's a great deal. You get 2 free stocks. You don't even have to spend the $100 and you'll help support this channel. So let's jump right in. The Senate was stalled last night on what to do with unemployment boosts, and this caused some major issues and delays and merited an entire video last night, but luckily they have worked that out. They've agreed on a solution after hours and hours of sitting and talking back and forth. Just no progress. We finally moved forward here. So the Senate has been voting on various amendments through their vote-a-rama process, this chaotic, caffeine-fueled, anger-fueled voting process that has been going on for a long time. In the House, they did it as well, and I think it lasted for 15 hours there. Looks like we're probably going to go longer than 15 hours here in the Senate because as I speak right now, this thing is still going. So senators are becoming more and more groggy and probably cranky, but we're inching towards a resolution on the next stimulus bill just bit by bit, and progress has been pretty good ultimately for the last 12 hours. So here's what happened with the stall on unemployment boost. This is the real hiccup. Last night we hit that standstill. There were 2 amendments that were proposed to fix this, and then we saw kind of a combination of the 2 amendments. So first the Senate approved with a 50 to 49 vote first to end unemployment boost in the middle of July as opposed to the end of August where they were currently sitting, but to keep it at $400 per week. But then that was changed again and another amendment was passed to extend benefits through September 6th. Now where we sit in totality with unemployment boost, it's likely to stay at $300 per week at the current amount, not $400 per week, through September 6th. And there will be a piece of tax relief that is attached to all of this. So a little bit more tax benefit. There's going to be no taxes due on unemployment payments up to $10,200 in annual benefits, and this will go to households making under $120,000 per year adjusted gross income. Now this sparked a lot of debate in itself, this new tax relief for unemployment boost. Here's one quote, Senator Rob Portman. He said, suddenly if you're on unemployment insurance, you don't have to pay taxes, but if you're working, you do have to pay taxes. How does that work? That's kind of hard to disagree with. However, I guess if you look at it like unemployment boosts have decreased from 400 to 300, it kind of just makes the system a little bit more simple. I guess that's one way to argue the other side of it. But of course, this is one of those situations where it's easy to see the arguments on both sides. And of course, you can make your own opinion on that. Other current pieces of tax relief that will be included in the bill, though, for everyone, just to highlight some things that will be in the bill, are that child tax credit, which would be $3,000 per child per year between the ages of 6 and 17, and $3,600 per year per child under the age of 6. And we're actually looking like this will likely be paid out monthly. So it's kind of like a family universal basic income, if you will. And also we're seeing an enhancement to the earned income tax credit as well, which would give a little bit more of a year-end tax boost to the lowest earning Americans, mostly those who earn under $30,000 per year adjusted gross income. We also saw tons and tons of other amendments proposed early this morning, so let's just highlight a few of these that I thought were kind of interesting. We saw an offer to replace the current bill with a much smaller $650 billion bill. We don't know the exact specifics of that bill because we don't have the text, but I assume because this was proposed by a Republican senator, it probably is identical to that Republican stimulus bill that was proposed like a month and a half ago, that bipartisan bill that we saw a little bit of a push behind for honestly like 5 or 6 days and then kind of didn't hear about it again. So I'm assuming it was probably very similar to that. That didn't pick up any steam and didn't get passed through. We also saw an amendment to increase transparency in state nursing home investigations. Now, this isn't necessarily stimulus related, but there are just amendments. This is kind of just to highlight how there are amendments on anything and everything during this vote-a-rama process. And sometimes amendments are made just so like the other side may have to make a sticky decision or a sticky vote on something maybe they shouldn't vote against or shouldn't vote for. I also saw an amendment to tie school funding to reopening. Another really interesting amendment that you're probably going to like to hear is Republican Senator Rick Scott said that Congress and the Senate has been extremely dysfunctional for the last few weeks, and he believes that they should not be paid unless they're actually working and moving forward with progress on a stimulus bill and providing relief to hardworking Americans. So he proposed an amendment this morning basically doing just that, saying that if businesses aren't getting paid, if individuals are out of work and they're not getting paid, we shouldn't get paid either. My amendment says that we shouldn't get paid unless we take some action. And we being senators in that case. And that bill didn't pass through. This is one of those situations where they're literally voting for their own paycheck. What are the odds that they're going to vote against their own paycheck? But Republican Senator Rick Scott, you kind of have to appreciate that he's like, I'm willing to not get paid if we're not taking action. So I'm going to have to look more into him because I actually don't know much about Rick Scott, but I appreciate that sentiment. We also finally saw an amendment to approve the recently stopped Keystone XL pipeline. This actually picked up some Democratic support in the amendment process, but didn't quite make the cut because this would have needed 60 votes in the Senate to get passed, and it got 51 to 48. Something that you might have noticed in this video is with the votes I've mentioned, none of them add up to 100, the total senators in the country. Now, this is because Republican Senator Dan Sullivan had to return to his home state of Alaska to attend a funeral and wasn't able to vote on any of these. So Republicans were down one vote. Due to this, no tiebreakers were actually needed on any of the amendments in the Senate bill so far, and likely won't be needed on the final vote for the bill. And because of this, Republicans are going to have a harder time either approving any amendments that they want or overturning any amendments that they want to get overturned because they're simply down one more in this evenly split 50-50 scenario. I don't think that this is going to change any significant outcomes though, like the vote on the final bill itself, because even with moderate senators like Manchin who question some of the parts of the bill, I just personally don't think he's going to oppose the whole bill after all this time. So even though the Republicans are down one senator, it probably won't change history because of it, just in my opinion. So what happens from here? Where do we go from here? Well, I think that we're going to see a vote in the Senate on the final stimulus bill within the next 24 hours. More likely, I would say late this evening or early morning on Sunday tomorrow morning. And then after that, that vote will get sent over to the House where they will vote this thing in probably 3 to 4 days from whenever it gets voted in the Senate. And Nancy Pelosi has already said that they will approve whatever gets passed in the Senate because she knows that it's going to be very similar to what they passed in the House. The scope will be, I don't know, 98, 99% the same as the House bill. So they're going to pass whatever gets passed in the Senate. They're going to pass that in the House, and then that will be sent to the president within the next day or two after that. And we could be looking at a stimulus bill passed sometime either Wednesday or Thursday of next week if things just stay in line with where we're at right now. So things are looking pretty good in terms of getting this bill passed before the unemployment boost expiration date on the 14th of March. I will keep you updated on any other significant updates here. I would like to thank you for tuning in on your Saturday, and I hope you have a profitable day.